Hey, hey, all my crafty friends. We are finally to spooky season, and that means Christmas is right around the corner. Also, I cannot wait. We are going to be having all of the spooky cards and, you know, all the holiday cards coming up, and it's probably my most favorite time of the year. The Burr months, even though I know this is August, but the Burr months, well, this is August when I'm recording it, I should say. But the Burr months are coming, and those are my best. All right, so we are going to be using that stamp set that you just seen. Um, all the links will, of course, be down below, so you can get everything from there. What I'm doing right now is I wanted to make a stencil for myself, and don't forget that you can do that with your own products. So I just used a circle die that was right out of my stash, of course. I think most crafters have a basic circle square die that you can use. Don't forget to use all of the small ones in between that. A lot of us just use the larger size and maybe even just the smaller sizes. But remember that to use and get creative with all of the ones in between too. All right, so I fit that in my 4.25 by 5.5 card here. And now, as you can see, I'm going to put that on the outside. And what I wanted was really the top half of that circle. So I am going to use some low-tack adhesive to put this down so that it moves the least. And then I wanted it to be like a cutoff circle almost. I don't really know, like almost like you're like looking into like, I guess, a snow globe type thing. I don't know. I had this idea. All right, so we're gonna go in with our purple inks. I believe we are going to be using Orchid and Magenta. Yeah, Orchid and Magenta. So I'm just using my two darkest because I wanted it. That's what I want. I wanted a dark, spooky night sky. So we're going to use our Orchid first to go around these edges. I also wanted the middle to stay as light as possible, that like the sun, not the sun, the moon was shining type thing, just to keep the highlight in the middle pretty much. So we are just putting down as much ink. You could use pouncers. Oh, that was Magenta. Now we're using Orchid. There we go. That was Orchid. Sorry guys, I'll get it together here. I think I end up going in with a black or like a really dark gray too, I think. Here, well, we'll see here. I ended up doing these cards pretty early as I am moving my craft room around the house. And so I knew I wanted to get this done to make sure that I had things ready to go for everybody. Okay, now, there we go. That's where I brought in the dark gray. Okay, so the key to a successful spooky sky is to bring in your blacks or really deep grays. And the deepest gray that we have in this set is the hearth, I think is what it is. And that's that deep gray. And then you can go back over it with your purple to get that purple to stand out on top. We're just building here, guys. We're always just building upon color. You have to just let it, sometimes you have to just trust the process. But there we go. We got a nice spooky sky, and with every spooky sky we need some stars. So we're going to use, all I do is use a basic acrylic white paint, the 99-cent, stuff at Michael's. Mix it with a little bit of water and a nice fine, I didn't want the big drips here. So nice fine paintbrush and just tapping that down, as you can see. And I'm loving this. So most of the time I will choose, blues for Christmas for my skies, and purples and greens, spookiness, especially purples when I'm dealing with pumpkins, because purple and orange are complementary, contrasting colors and will pop very well against each other. All right, we love how that came out. It did leak a little bit in the front. I must have moved the stencil a little bit, but that's okay. Nothing that you either can't fix with a white gel pen, or honestly leave it. These are handmade, not perfect. And honestly, it was very minimal. So, all right. So what I kind of had planned here was the spooky tree and all of the pumpkins underneath of it. So we're going to stamp these out with our Honeybee Intense Black ink that is made for alcohol markers, because we are going to be using our Ohulu markers. I will be showing the caps on screen, but if you have not noticed or not in the, alcohol marker world, Ohulu just made a huge announcement that they are changing the numbers on their caps to make them, I guess, it needs to happen. It needs to happen. That is the one big downfall in the Ohulu world, is what I say. I love my markers, but honestly, the numbers make no sense at all, and hopefully now they will. But unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of a mess probably, because I will have the old numbers. I'm not buying new markers. It would be fantastic if they would actually send us a set of new caps. That would be actually, maybe we'll have to reach out to them. All right, so we are using our YR5 terracotta. So for now, I will be just putting in the old numbers. They do have charts for the new numbers if you have the new markers, and you can compare. As soon as I print out and get my craft room together, because I don't have that yet, and can print out the new chart, I will do that, and I will put the old and the new numbers in my descriptions from now on. All right, we are using this as our shadows, so we're just going around. These images are absolutely great because they really depict where your shadows are. The artist drawn lines are in these images. They are very detailed images, so pretty much I just followed the artist drawn lines and added in my shadows. So now we are to the mid-tone, which is a YR2, and this is pretty much my go-to for a pumpkin color. It is definitely starting out with that nice orange deep dark color and then going into your yellow color, which I do believe I do a YR33 here coming up is what you will see. I would love to know if you guys send out or make Halloween cards. I know when I first started making cards about 2 years ago, and got into this world, I was like, I probably will never make Halloween cards, as I should never say never, as I just, why would I send those out? But honestly, Halloween cards have become second best to my Christmas cards. I love them. We can use different colors than we normally use. Normally, I'm not a purple and orange and green fan, but give me a spooky card and I will use all of the greens. It gives me a chance to pull out that for like distress oxides, the citrus, twisted citron, or the mosses and the ferns of the color fuses, which are definitely not colors that I gravitate to on a regular. All right, it was YR33 was my lightest color. These little lanterns, I am going to go in with that YR33, and I believe I pull out one. Yeah, I believe I pull out, what is it? Y7? Oh, I can't remember. I wish I would have put it down. I think it's like, it's acid yellow is what the name of it is called, but I cannot remember exactly. But yeah, it's a even brighter yellow. Unfortunately, I should have. I'm trying to get much better with my caps, guys. I'm trying. And then we're going to do G380 for just getting that green into the stems. We are also then going to move on to our grays, which I do neutral grays for everything here. You could do neutrals or probably cool. I'd probably stay away from the warmer grays on this one just because of those purples. But I do start out with I believe this is an NG09 for your neutral grays. And then I will move into NG07, and NG06 is my lightest on this, which is honestly still a pretty dark gray. And then you'll see me lose the NG09 and step down for my lightest to be an NG03 for this little witch's hat. I just colored that in. I really wanted a silhouette. Oh, I do come back to the NG09. There it is. I really wanted this tree to be more of a silhouette, so I didn't want you to see too much detail, but honestly I also did not want it to be a complete silhouette. So yeah, we have to do that. There we go. There's all my colors, NG07 and NG06. I thought I went down to an NG03, but obviously I kept it a little bit darker this time. So, and just taking that right out, keeping, honestly, there isn't much of a light source in this one. I am just keeping the light source really to the middle of everything, so that, keeping it simple. I didn't have a moon that I felt, I mean, I have a moon, but I just didn't, I didn't have a direct light source. There we go. If I can get that. All right. I did re-stamp those with my VersaFine black ink. I like doing that. Just be careful and don't move your stamps, and keep that paper right in the corner. As you can see, I keep a lot of my stamps straight in my MISTI, so that I don't even move anything. And then I will come back down with the VersaFine Onyx black ink, and it really puts that dark black ink back on my images. All right, so we're just cleaning up a few things around here. I think I had some fuzzies or something on there. I'm not sure. We're going to put on our tree using our Barely Arts glue. Everything is going to go down as no foam tape here. I wanted everything just to be pretty much level. This was as simple as a card as I could kind of do it at this point. And I love going back between more simple cards and then going into the more difficult cards. Sometimes we always just need a nice and simple card, and we had already done ink blending and alcohol marker, so, and cutting our own stencils. So as much as this was simple, it wasn't super simple. Yeah, so I didn't do a moon on this one. Like I said, my light source, as you can see, is coming from that middle. I did the halo effect, so I just kept my light source right in the middle. You can do a light source of whatever you would like. All right, I ended up not using that third pumpkin. It got a little cluttered in there, and I felt like, well, I'm at 3. That is good for, you know, the eye and everything, so 3 pumpkins it is. I did feel like we needed a little something more, so I am gonna come in here and use my white Jelly Roll pen, my 10. This is my favorite white pen, to put some highlights. I think that this just makes everything pop just a little bit more, especially on those dark scenes. And honestly, I just kind of go around and follow the curves of the images. Like I said, I felt like I needed just a smidgen more, so we're going to bring the bat in from that set, use our dark VersaFine ink. These bats are already distressed with the stamps, so they're the perfect addition. And here I am at free stamping and not using my MISTI. So I was like, oh, crud, I got to come back. All right. And there we go. That led the image off the paper, and I think it is perfect. Now we need to find a great sentiment. And I felt like this little one didn't overpower the whole card. Kept it very simplistic, a lot of white space, and it felt like it fit just perfect. We're going to say Happy Halloween, Friend. All came from that one stamp set, so you don't need multiple stamp sets. And there we are, friends. So fun. Loving pulling out all of the nice Halloween colors. Here are a few close-ups of that Don't forget to check out Brass and Bliss for all of your Halloween and fall images. They definitely have some great ones in there, and I have lots of Halloween things. Also, you'll see that coordinating envelope in the corner. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.